Hey, it's Mel. How are you? I'm so excited to be live with you right now. Oh my gosh. I went live on here earlier. It's been a goal of mine to go live more on this platform and make it a part of kind of what I do because I just want a chance to take your questions and coach you live and just connect with you here. And it was so exciting and so successful. And I'm so jazzed and fired up that I could not fall asleep. So I don't even know what time it is here in the United States. But given that the reach of the Mel Robbins podcast is global, I wanted to just, since I'm awake, go live again for you since you're in a different time zone. And first of all, thank you for listening to the Mel Robbins podcast. Thank you for being here with me right now. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take questions and I'm going to coach you and give you advice and inspire you. And I see a question already coming in. Oh, I love this question. So go ahead and tell me where you're watching from right in the comments right now. And then I'm going to start with a question from, oh, I love this, a 42-year-old artist. I can't focus. I think I'm too late. I don't feel good enough. What's your advice? I'm going to handle that in a minute because there's so much to unpack there. But in the meantime, as we allow our friends to come in and you get settled, I want you to tell me where are you watching from and what question do you have for me? What advice do you need? What is the obstacle that you're facing? And how can I help you right now? And so I'm going to get through as many of these questions as I can. And I want to start with this one from a 42-year-old artist. I can't focus. I think I'm too late. I don't feel good enough. What's your advice? So first thing, let's talk about the I'm too late. If you're breathing and you're watching this video, you're not too late. Okay? You're not too late. That is a story that you're telling yourself. And you have to stop telling yourself that story. First of all, like just think about me. I'm 56 years old and just 18 months ago, I jumped into the podcast game. And you would think that a woman who is 54 years old, who had never had a podcast, who was just jumping into the game when there's 6 million podcasts, would be too late. I have proven that you're never too late. You're never too late to pursue your dreams. And the thing that I want you to understand is that you're not like starting from scratch. You're bringing so much experience to the table. The example that I demonstrate every single day, both with the Mel Robbins podcast and showing up here on social media and leaning into all these things that I'm really excited about, it proves to you that you're never too late. That is a freaking story that you're telling yourself that keeps you feeling stuck and that keeps you from taking the actions that will change your life. And so we're going to talk a lot in the coaching today about how you need to identify the excuses and the stories and all of the junk and garbage in your head that you're putting in your own way. Because nobody on the planet thinks that you're too late. That is something that you're telling yourself. And so, number one, if Mel Robbins can start a podcast at the age of 54 and 18 months later be one of the top 10 podcasts on the planet, you, at the age of 42, you can be an artist. You can go back to school. You can reinvent your life after divorce. You can 3x your business. And this is what it's going to require. It's going to require you to stop listening to that garbage. And it's going to require you to start taking the actions that are consistent with the results that you want. Because sitting around and telling yourself that you're too late or that you don't feel good enough, and it's leading to the lack of focus. I mean, I want you to just stop and think about this. You're 42 years old and you have this desire to be successful as an artist. So what do you need to do to be successful as an artist? Number one, you got to create art. And number two, you have to create relationships and to market that art, okay? And that's what you need to do. And anything other than creating art and marketing your art is a waste of your time. And I think that what's the problem is that you've been spending too much time thinking, too much time kind of feeling your emotions because you're not where you thought you would be. And the solution to this problem is simple. You have to act. You have to have a breakthrough. And you have to start waking up every day and doing what a successful artist does. Because I guarantee you, the more you tell yourself that you're too late, the more you tell yourself that you're not good enough, the less art you're going to create and the less you're going to market what you're already doing. And that's the problem. And, everybody wants to think that, you can just magically think about what you want and all of a sudden you're going to get yourself there. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way at all. And so I'm here to tell you, number one, you're not too late. Number two, you're completely good enough and you got plenty of time to get your career back on track. And number three, the reason why you can't focus is because of all the excuses that you're not only telling yourself, but you're listening to. And so what's my advice? My advice is you have to freaking start taking action. When you wake up in the morning, I guess I'm going to ask you this question. And as you're watching this, you may not be an artist, but there is some area in your life where you feel blocked. There is something going on in the business that you have that you're not achieving the results that you want. Maybe there's something going on with your health where you just can't seem to be consistent in staying on the track with being healthy. I totally get it. This is normal to kind of get into these lulls. So as I'm coaching our 42-year-old artist, I want you to apply what I'm saying to you. The more that you sit there and you beat yourself up and you tell yourself these excuses, I'm tired, I'm this, I don't have time, all this time I've wasted, the less likely you're actually going to do the work that creates the results that you want. And that's why you're trapped. And so for each and every one of you that feels stuck, that feels like you're too late, you got a choice to make right now. You can either continue to think those things and tell yourself those things. And if you do that, we know where that path leads. Or you can recognize that you're blocked because of your thinking. And you can accept what I'm saying, which is the only thing that just destroys and shatters this, is start acting like a 42-year-old artist that's made it. Start acting like a 36-year-old that has healthy habits. Start acting like a 52-year-old that is reinventing her life. Start acting like an author whose manuscript is getting finished. And what that means is do the work. That's my advice. That's my advice. And I know that that can sound kind of harsh, but the truth is that's the only thing that's going to change your life. I've got another question here that I want to jump into. This one comes from somebody who says, I recently turned in my resignation due to not feeling that my boss does not respect my personal time and my boundaries. How do I help myself heal from hearing them say I, quote, disappointed them and my lack of effort made them sad, even though we had multiple conversations? I have had daily panic attacks since we had a hard conversation nearly a month ago. So, here's the piece of advice I'm going to give you. Your boss can have a major impact on your mental health, positive or negative. And I think the single biggest thing that's going to help you to move on from a unhealthy working relationship for you is for you to use my let them theory, okay? And if you haven't heard about it before, it's super, super simple. Whenever you start to reflect and think about the experience in your past job, I want you to just say to yourself, let them. Let them be disappointed. Let them think I had a lack of effort. Let them feel sad that I'm leaving. And then here's what you're going to notice. The second that you say, let them, you unhook yourself from all the emotion and the anxiety and all the gunk that you still have around this job that you have left. The second step of this, though, is super important. And that's when you turn your time and energy and emotion back to yourself. Let me move forward. Let me be proud of myself for acknowledging that I was in a situation that wasn't a good fit for me. Let me put my time and energy toward finding something that's a great fit. That's all there is to do here. You know, your therapist can talk to you about why this was very triggering and what patterns this sort of triggered from your childhood, but I want you to move forward. And the longer that you reflect on your boss's emotional temper tantrum and the things that your boss said to you that really triggered you when you turned in your resignation, the longer that you reflect on what happened literally nearly a month ago, the more you're going to stay in the past. So let them say they were disappointed. Let them have a little temper tantrum and say that you lacked effort and that they're sad about you. No problem, because let me turn in my resignation. Let me keep honoring what's going to work for me. And let me take all that time and energy that I used to pour into my job and pour it forward into finding something that actually makes me feel good about what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. Oh my gosh, this is a great question. The next question. Oh, I love the question. So if you're just joining us, welcome. It's Mel Robbins. I'm so fired up to be live with you guys here right now. Just tell me where you're tuning in from and and ask whatever question. Tell me what challenges you're dealing with, and I will try to get to as many of these as I can. But I love this question because so many of you are asking about guilt. And this can be a real killer. So this question, let's see, I struggle with investing in myself. I have so much guilt. I own my own business and just wrapped up my first year in business. Congratulations. I learned a lot, but mostly I learned that putting myself first helps not only me, but my family tremendously. But the process of investing in myself causes me so much stress, anxiety, and guilt. The mom guilt is so real. How do I deal with this? This is a great question, and I have a lot to say about this. And so whether you're dealing with mom guilt or you're feeling guilty because you have these goals that you want to work on for yourself, and it means that you're not as present and can't spend as much time with your partner, guilt is something that you have to understand because it will rise up when you start working on yourself, when you start pursuing things that are important to you. And there's a reason why. And so first, let me talk about why you feel guilt. Guilt is a very normal emotion, and it's very misunderstood. And when you feel guilty about something, here's what it means. You ready? It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It just means that two different parts of your life feel like they're in conflict with one another. Okay? And based on the research around guilt, there are two different forms of guilt. There's a very positive form of guilt, believe it or not, and there's a negative form of guilt. And based on this question, I am pretty convinced that the guilt that you're feeling is the negative kind, because the negative kind of guilt is guilt where you aim it back at you and you beat yourself up and you make yourself wrong for pursuing the things that you're pursuing, for investing in yourself. And what happens when you start to make yourself wrong for putting yourself first or prioritizing your happiness is that, first of all, it makes you less motivated to do the things that are going to make you happier. Why? Because, of course, you're beating yourself up about it. Second, when you have this negative mindset, it just creates this chronic stress. And you just talked about it in the question you asked me. You said, I feel so much stress and anxiety and guilt. And the reason why you feel all that is because you are bashing yourself for prioritizing your happiness, your goals, and your potential. Okay? That's the bad kind of guilt. You got to stop doing that. I need you to flip this into the good guilt. And I'm going to teach you how to do this, okay? Because good guilt means, and again, guilt is a sign that two things that you care about feel like they're in conflict with one another. Good guilt is a very powerful motivational force. Good guilt is a signal that something's slightly off, and it can motivate you to change for the better. And so I want you to realize that guilt, that you're calling it guilt, about the fact that you own your own business and that it requires time of you. That guilt that you're feeling is just a signal that there's a couple things that you need to do in order to remove the friction. And I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do, because this is something that I've absolutely dealt with in my own life as my career started to go like this, and I found myself not as home as much, and I was working a lot. I felt really guilty about it. And so here's what you're going to do. Number one, you already did the hardest part, which is you're self-aware. You called it guilt. You recognize that it's bothering you. And so just naming it is a huge step forward, because now we can deal with it. And so bravo on being self-aware. Second thing that we're going to do is we're going to flip it into the good guilt. We're going to use it to motivate you to do a couple things that will remove it from your life, and that will also improve your relationship with your family, and it will help you fuel your business. And I love that you said that you already realized that putting yourself first helps you. Of course it does, because you have this potential inside you. And when you go and pursue your potential, you become more fulfilled. You become happier. And then the happier you comes back into your family, which helps your family tremendously. The revenue that you're earning is something you bring into your family, which helps your family tremendously. So we got to deal with the feelings in a different way. And so here's what you're going to do. You're going to sit your family down. And this is where the conversation gets interesting. You're simply going to say to your family, I just want to thank you. Thank you so much, you guys, for being so supportive. Thank you so much for supporting me and pursuing the thing that I'm really excited about. Thank you for cheering me on. It means so much to me. And while I hate the fact that I'm not there all the time, it just makes me so happy that I have this thing that I'm learning from and I'm successful with. And I just want to thank you for supporting me. And then this is what you say. You say, and because I really want you to grow up, kids. And I want you, my partner, to find something that you really love. And I want you to build something. I want you to reach your potential. And excuse me a second. I just, here's how you know. I am like getting on a roll, so I must have sucked in something there. Hold on a second. You know what's going to happen in less than a minute? I'm going to sneeze. This is like my thing. Woo! Here we go. Woo! Okay, we're on a roll. And then you're going to say this, and this is where, boom, you seal the deal. You say, and guess what? When you find that thing that you love and you start working on it like crazy, I am going to be your loudest cheerleader. I am going to be there to support you every step of the way, because you were there to support me. And oh my gosh, what happens then is you pull your family into what you're doing, rather than having it be like, this is my thing. It means I'm not a good mom. It means I'm not always there. And here's the other thing. Mom to mom, you got to cut this guilt thing out. And let me tell you why. Mom to mom, don't you want your kids to grow up and pursue their dreams? Don't you want your kids to learn how to put themselves first? Don't you want your kids to invest in their own happiness? Of course you do. Who the heck is going to teach them how to do this? You are. You are. You are modeling one of the most important things that you could model for your kids. How dare you feel guilty about this? Yes, you're going to have to miss out on a few things. But so what? You know that you're there. You know that you're present. You're modeling something that's so important. Do you know how much your kids love having somebody that's happy and that's doing something cool and that is a mom that's up? That is like the coolest thing ever. So I get it. You're going to feel it. There are things that I missed out on. And there are going to be times where you really work on your business. And there are going to be times at certain ages of your kids that you are pulling back and you're more focused on them. But lose the guilt. Like, just get really focused on what matters. Stop talking about the guilt and just lean in to what makes you really happy and keep acknowledging the people in your life for supporting you. I promise you it's going to work out and you're doing a great job. This guilt is not serving your kids. It's not serving them. Oh, and here's one more thing. I almost forgot to tell you this. Oh, this is so important. When you say that you feel guilty about putting yourself first and pursuing a business, how do you think that makes your kids feel? It doesn't make them feel good. It actually makes them feel like they're a burden on some level, that there's some kind of obligation. And this is why it's so important for you to have this conversation where you're thanking people for supporting you, because you want to bring everybody into what you're doing instead of putting them in competition. That's a really important thing. Here's another one. Here's another question. So thank you for that question. And thank you, everybody, for continuing to have all of these questions. How important is it that you work on something that you can visualize yourselves doing? This is essential. Like, you're not put on this planet to go through your life on autopilot. You're not put on this planet to stay stuck or broken or unhappy. And one of the reasons why it's so uncomfortable and you feel so much friction when you are unhappy, or when you're just kind of punching the clock, or when you're just going through the motions, the reason why that feels so uncomfortable is because there is this untapped potential inside of you. There are dreams and goals that you are meant to fulfill. One of the reasons why you're here is because you are supposed to grow and contribute and do something greater than just earn some money and pay your bills and go through the motions. And so how important is it that you work on something that you can visualize yourself doing that's great? It's absolutely everything. In fact, I personally think that what creates meaning in your life and what creates happiness in your life is creating a project or a game that is worth working on, so that every single day when you wake up and you're getting out of bed, you're not just checking off a to-do list for other people, that there is something bigger that is worth getting out of bed for, whether it is developing a successful art career, or it's writing that book, or it's launching your first business, or it's learning a new skill, or it is reinventing your life after divorce or grief or, heartbreak or unexpectedly losing a job. Like, creating something that is bigger than your current life, not like there's something wrong with your current life, but something that you can work toward. All of the research, every expert that studies happiness and meaning and purpose, they all come down to the singular recommendation that you have to create meaning in your life, and meaning comes from working on something that makes you grow, working on something that makes you come alive. And look, for a ton of you, I see this all the time in the inbox and in the comments and in the reviews around the Mel Robbins podcast and what you write in about. And I see some of you commenting about this right now, that you don't know what makes you come alive. Well, that's okay. Here's all you need to know to start working on it. That right now your day-to-day life isn't sparking joy. That right now your day-to-day life makes you feel stagnant. If you know that you're not reaching your potential, if you know that you're blocked, if you know that you're stuck, that's good news. And that's all you need to have to change your life and to get yourself on the right track because you know you don't want what you have. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about something that is going on right now in my life that I want to make sure you know about. Because I have seen over the years way too many people wasting years of their life sitting around waiting for purpose and motivation and joy to just strike. And it's not coming. You have to create it in your life. And I wanted to do something about it. I've been there in my life. I've been stuck. I've been blocked. I have felt incredibly lost. And I was lucky enough to just be so desperate that I have climbed myself out of those moments. But boy, do I wish there would have been somebody that would have helped me. Boy, do I wish in the moments when I have hit a ceiling in my business, there would have been somebody going, I can help you with that. And so I decided to create a experience, a 6-month-long coaching experience to help anyone who wants to level up their life, to learn how to be accountable to yourself, to learn how to be consistent, to learn how to stay on task, to learn how to define a really big game that is worth getting out of bed for and chipping away at. And so I want to make sure that you know that right now, this 6-month-long program called Launch, it's right down here. I'm not going to give you a hard sell. Don't worry. It's a 6-month-long program where I will coach you. I will hold you accountable. I will give you the system. I will give you the simple list of things to do every day. And I will also surround you with a community of people who are positive, who are working on big goals, who are pushing themselves forward, who are creating happier, more fulfilled lives, and who are having breakthroughs and massive success in their business. And maybe what's missing in your life right now is a little bit of discipline, is a little bit of consistency. Maybe what's missing is a group of people that are very positive, that are waking up every day and working on something. I mean, you can find yourself in these moments in life where you're surrounded by people that you've known a long time. There's nothing wrong with them, but they talk about the same thing. They do the same thing all the time. They talk about the same people. And it's kind of hard to push yourself to a new level when you're surrounded by people who are always doing the same thing. And so I want to make sure that you're aware and that you know that I am personally inviting you to check out this 6-month program that I created, that I lead once a year called Launch. It is open for registration just for a few more hours. Like registration literally closes tonight. And you're seeing this video for a reason. If you want more accountability, if you want to feel like you can stay on task, if you want to learn how to be consistent, if you want help defining what your business goals or your personal goals are, this is the opportunity. There's not another program like on the planet like this. Like if you think about it, if you want to lose weight, you can get into a 30-day challenge. If you want to learn how to create an online course, you can get into one of those funnel marketing things and, blah, 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 blah. But if you want to be held accountable to raise money for your business, where is it? I don't know. It's right here. If you want structure and accountability to actually figure out how to reinvent your life and then be held accountable to do the actions to make it happen, the program's right here. If you want to see yourself having a breakthrough in staying on task, in being consistent with your health goals, in putting yourself first and not letting the guilt sideline you, this is the program. And it is open for registration right now. It's the only time I'm going to lead this in 2024. In fact, I'm not doing this again until 2025. And if you've seen some of the stuff that I've, put out about Launch and you've been thinking about it, this is your sign right here. Doors are closing in a few hours, and I would love to have you in the program. And what I also want to say is if you're thinking, well, I'm not in the US, Mel, how's this work? Well, there are students around the world who have graduated from this program. And the alumni that have graduated from this program have done some freaking remarkable things. In fact, I want to read you some of the testimonials because they're amazing. And if you are looking to have a breakthrough, if you're looking to go from feeling stuck to on fire, this is the program. Let me coach you. This is the only way to be in a coaching program that has been designed by and is led by Mel Robbins. Here's a testimonial from one of our alums. I just want you all to know that you have honestly saved my life. I took a gamble and I signed up for Mel's 6-month coaching program launch to help me in my career. And as you're sitting here, you may be thinking, should I take this gamble? Should I jump in? Well, listen to what this alum said. What happened next is nothing short of a miracle. I went from depressed, overweight, and drinking to decompress to alive and vibrant and ready to challenge myself to grow every day. I lost 21 pounds. I made peace with a disability. I got real with the people that I love. I ditched that toxic job. I finished a book that I'd been working on writing for 3 years. And, oh, I love this. I'm now working toward a degree in art at the school of my dreams. Something that I was always told was a waste of time and that I wasn't talented enough. Well, guess what? Since taking Mel's program launch, I've made honors every term since I started. I feel alive for the first time in my life, and I'm nearly 50. I feel like me for the first time in my life. Wouldn't it be awesome to feel like yourself? Think when you feel stuck and blocked, what you're blocked from is your potential. It's your vibrancy. And I see something different for you. I do. I see something different for you than what you're experiencing currently. Here's another one. I love this one. Here's another alum. Mel's program launch changed my life. I'm back in school, graduating with my master's degree in entrepreneurship for about a year. I've started a new career. I've moved. I've created space for me. If you told me a year ago I'd be where I am today, I'd say you're lying. Thank you, thank you, thank you for this life-changing experience, Mel. And here's what I'm going to tell you. You can't see what's possible because right now you're blocked by self-doubt. You're blocked by your story that you're not good enough or that you're too late or all the same garbage that I used to tell myself. Right now you're blocked because you're not surrounded by people that are working on big things and that are cheering you on. Right now you're blocked because you don't have somebody like Mel Robbins holding you accountable and giving you the consistency and the support and the encouragement and the structure that you need. Right now you're blocked because you're around people that are awesome, but they're not really doing a whole lot of stuff that's inspiring you. You need a crew of people that are doing cool things and talking about big things and working on big things to fuel your momentum. And that's exactly what this program provides you. So, doors are closing in a few hours. I'm so happy that you are here with me right now so that you have heard about it. I do not want you to miss out on living the life that you could be living. I think you know that if you spent the next 6 months with me, you would not believe the unbelievable changes that would happen in your life. And I want that for you. So before it's too late, I want you to check out the information. It's melrobbins.com/launch and jump in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't sit there and think about it. Don't procrastinate. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Jump in, join us. It'll be the best decision that you made this year. Alrighty. I am starting to get a little tired, so I am going to go to bed. But I love you. I believe in you, and I believe in your ability to create a better life. But you got to be willing to do the work, and you got to be willing to accept help when help arrives. And I am here telling you, it would be an honor to be your coach, and it would be absolutely extraordinary for you to jump into this life-changing experience. Because you know what? You deserve it. All right. I'll talk to you soon.